Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien on the morning of Thursday, August 17th, 2023. Stand by for a special commentary. Well, today's commentary is on speakers that hijack the public. And I mean special speakers, like Julius Caesar, Mark Antony, Adolf Hitler, and Donald J. Trump. They always occupy a certain level of the population. In Donald J. Trump's case, he's hijacked the Republican Party, and he's got about 30 to 45 million hardcore supporters that no matter what anybody does or says will not change their mind an iota. Case in point, this morning, if you watch CNN, you'll see this one lady in Texas that's under arrest for threatening one of the judges for Donald J. Trump. And how did she get that? Well, Donald J. Trump, when he does his conferences and he puts out his tweets and social media, he says things on those statements that you and me read them and say, and go our separate ways. But other people, and the ones that used to do it very good, one of the guys I know in recent memory was Adolf Hitler, who could do it very good and make the people do his bidding for him without pushing them. Donald J. Trump seems to be in that thing. In the old days, it was Julius Caesar to an extent, Mark Antony to a certain extent, but Tiberius, he did it from AD 14 to 37, and nobody killed him. He passed out of an old age. But Tiberius, he knew how to handle the people. And he knew how to handle people he didn't like. Oh, did he know how to do that? He was probably the best emperor that ever did that, Tiberius. You guys don't know him because he was a minor emperor. Well, Donald J. Trump seems to have learned a lot from Tiberius, the way he does things. It's unlike Hitler, unlike Caesar, and more like Mark Antony. He does things behind the scenes. If you don't believe me, William Shakespeare did a pretty good job of Mark Antony and he didn't even read the records because they weren't around in his time. He just went by conjecture when he did Mark Antony's play on Julius Caesar. And he did that famous speech, "Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears." And if you read that speech, seems like Shakespeare had some of that in him too. If he was a real guy, or whoever did William Shakespeare, well, if you read that speech that he wrote in the 1500s, late 1500s, you'll understand what I mean when he took the crowd, and he was supposed to be doing a burial speech for Julius Caesar. And he turned that around to make the crowd anti-Brutus and anti-Cassius. And by the end of the speech, they had to hightail it out of Rome before they got their heads chopped off. See? Hitler couldn't do that good. He could do it, but he needed muscle. Same with Julius Caesar. He needed muscle behind stuff. And Julius Caesar, like Donald J. Trump, went a little too far, where he thought it was him. And that caused the senators like Cassius and Brutus to say, okay, let me see, you like it this way? Well, here comes one knife, here comes two knife, and there was like 23 or something like that. And the last one, he knew. And who's going to be it for Donald J. Trump? By the time he got the last knife in him, all he said was, tu brute, which in English translated as something like, you too, Brutus? Then he knew his fate was sealed. Who's going to be the Brutus for Donald J. Trump? And there's going to be one out there. But who's going to be the public that does the bidding for Donald J. Trump? This lady was. She's going to get arrested and fined and put in jail for a few years for threatening a judge. That's probably, 5 to 10 years maybe, by the time they finish with her. Yeah, see what I mean, Americans? This is what you have. And most of you are going to still vote for those Democrats and Republicans, and both parties have messed you up. And you don't seem to get the lesson. Why? What is wrong with getting the lesson right for a change? That's why I'm saying, vote Freddie the Freeloader for president, and show both parties, that those extremists on those parties, that you are not taking this anymore. You need to be governed for the one, but then the few and the many need to be governed too. Donald J. Trump governs for the one. All the other crazy Republicans, including Nikki Haley, govern for the few. Joseph Biden and those interesting leftist Democrats for the few. Themselves, the Democratic Party. And notice that Joe Manchin is so fed up, he wants to leave the Democratic Party. Boy, that's kind of bad, huh? Whew. Yeah. And you guys were wondering how come Arlen Specter was all over the map. Republican, Democrat, Independent, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Poor guy. The more time he spent on each party, he probably got a big headache. I would. That's why I never joined a party. Never thought of Republicans and Democrats. To me, it's American. But you guys don't know what the hell that is. You never figured it out. But then what are you going to do with the reincarnation of Julius Caesar, Hitler, and Mark Antony? But specifically Tiberius. What you going to do with him? Is he going to go the way of Tiberius and become president again? Tiberius lived a nice life. Nothing happened to Tiberius. Is he going to go the way of Julius Caesar with those 20 plus hacks that he got? And the last one, tu brute? Yeah. Is he going to go the way of Mark Antony, where he thought he was Julius Caesar reincarnated and he wanted to be number one? Octavian put a stop to that, didn't he? And he ended up, according to Shakespeare, running into his assistant's sword. Run, Lord, run! Yeah. I don't think any Roman did that. Japanese, I can see harakiri, but Romans, I don't think they would do that. That's not their character. But anyway, that's what William Shakespeare thought. Well, is... Or is he going to be Adolf Hitler? which they say gave poison to Abel Braun and took the pistol and shot himself in the temple. Well, there was a lot of imitations of Hitler, weren't there? I still think he made it out with the people that made it out on that submarine ended up in Argentina someplace, and from there went to Brazil and passed away at a nice, ripe old age, old man. Yeah. This is your favorite alien saying, and you Americans end up holding the bag. Good day.